All right, well, let's move on to the spotlight. This week we're going to be talking about Harvest. It came out in 2024 from Keymaster Games, and the designer is Trey Chambers, and the artist is Tierra Connor. It's for 1 to 4 players, 30 to 60 minutes, ages 10 plus on the side of the box. Board Game Geek is insane with an 8 plus. 10 plus, I think, is a great starting point. In Harvest, each player vies to become the best new farmer in Furroughfield by earning the most blue ribbons from planting, tending, and harvesting their fields. The game takes place over 4 rounds, each with 3 phases. Players draft a new sunrise tile in the sunrise phase. Sunrise tiles provide player bonuses and determine player order, with the lowest number going first. During the action phase, players will take turns placing one of their wheelbarrow tokens on an open action space on the town board. An action space occupied by a wheelbarrow token is closed, which prevents other wheelbarrows from being placed there. The general store allows players to gain fertilizer, fill their water buckets, and purchase seeds. The fields provides action points that you may spend to plant, tend, and harvest your crops. Planting seeds requires fertilizer and space in your field, depending on the size of the crop. You can plant wheat, strawberries, blueberry bushes, and pumpkins. Players use the tending action to spend water to multiply crops adjacent to the ones they tend. The harvest action allows you to remove all the crops from your field, earning you coins, fertilizer, and blue ribbon points based on the number and types of crops harvested. At the workshop, players may pay coins to upgrade their bucket to carry more water, clear land on their field board to provide room for more planting, or build a building that offers immediate or end-of-game bonuses. Lastly, the farmer's market consists of unique action tiles that change from round to round, and the trading post allows you to spend seeds, fertilizer, or water to perform a field action, clear land, or upgrade seeds. After all players have placed their wheelbarrows, the sunset phase begins. All players retrieve their wheelbarrows, buildings become less expensive, and the farmer's market gets refreshed. The game ends after the 4th round, and players score additional points from end-of-game bonuses, unharvested crops, blueberry bushes, and unspent coins. The player with the most blue ribbon points wins. Harvest offers tough choices each turn and plenty of variety with 8 character cards with unique abilities, various farmhouse abilities, and a rotating farmer's market that makes each game feel different. So are you ready to master the manure, water your fields, and harvest your crops? Or are you happier rolling around like a pig in mud? So that is the gameplay overview. This one has a very tight worker placement. This is what I would call a very restrictive game, which is it's very hard to do what you want to do all the time.
The game requires planning.
Yes. And even though it is restricting, it also is very satisfying when you pull it off. This is not a game where you're going to be having points upon points and huge major turns. You may have one big turn around, and that's about it. So if that's the type of crunchy level worker placement that you like, this game would be perfect for you. If you like more of a relaxed kind of open worker placement, this one might not be for you because those spots close down quick, and some places like I have no place to go to water my flowers, or things like that where it can be pretty restrictive.
Yeah, longtime listeners will find what I'm about to say hopefully fairly useful, so they can make a choice if they want to invest their time and energy. But if you're new, you're going to have to listen to me for a few minutes and bloviate here. But this is a beautifully produced worker placement game, and I place it in the light hobby category. It's the main event for the night, and this is the top end of what my family can handle.
Yep.
This is as Doug said, Doug talked about it being a crunchy worker placement. You're not going to get to do everything that you want to do, especially when you go to plant items. Well, if you don't have a seed on your board, you can't actually make that. And that can be a decision where you get a little bit of tears at the table. So you just have to have the stuff to be able to do the stuff. Now, that being said, do you put this in light hobby, Doug?
I would say so, yeah. I mean, it's not, I think it's interesting because it's not necessarily choices or anything that is overly complicated about the game. It just requires a lot of think power and planning,
Yeah, I think it's the
which
planning. Yeah.
which is not usually the case for a family level game.
Right. And some of the other games of the week that we've featured and talked about from Keymaster, such as Parks or Trails, don't require that level of planning, at least in my opinion. This is a game I've been excited to talk about on our show in depth since we saw a demo of it at Gen Con 2023. And initial play, I was very happy with it. It is also out on Board Game Arena. I prefer to play this one in person. I like how it looks on the table. I like being able to move my pieces and wheelbarrows around to certain areas. It plays great solo. And there's a lot of content out there. So in terms of try, if you get the chance, you can look at playthrough videos. It is on Board Game Arena. You don't just have to run out and pay $120 on the secondary market to get the Ultra Deluxe with all the playmats. Like there's a lot of different ways to engage with this game. And I think it is a really good worker placement if that's the type of game that you like. To me, it's creature comforts, one more level up. This is certainly a level up from some other worker placement games we've talked about as well.
Yeah, the artwork is amazing, and what I would call like the world building, like I think the edition on the video, if you're watching this on YouTube, that you'll see is the golden edition.
Yeah.
Which I think is a kind of a Kickstarter upgraded version. It's not the straight retail one, so some of those components may vary, but the artwork doesn't, and the artwork makes you feel like you're reading a little golden book, and is just in that world of Charlotte's Web, Animal Farm, that type of artwork.
You're just repeating things that you said on the Kickstarter page, Doug.
Maybe I am, but that's true.
Yeah,
but
no, it is true.
So and Keymaster just does an awesome job on artwork, and that artwork tying into the theme of the game, whether it's parks or it's caper or it's I can't think of the monster one that they have, but they just do such a great
creatures.
Campy creatures, yes. They just do such a great job with artwork. I think they are one of the best in the industry as far as marrying those to the style with the theme of the game. What I love about the game is that rotating farmers market, which is action spaces that pop up that are different each round. And there's only one available for each one. So they're usually some of the most sought after spaces because it's not going to be there next round. There's nowhere else that you can do that combination of either acquiring resources or planting or building all in one action. And I really like that about the game of that rotation. I think that's one of the strongest parts about this game.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that combined with, I actually like the tension of it looks like it's going to be an easy game. When I sat down and sat at the table and you were giving the rules teach, I was like, I'm about to dominate this thing. And then after the first play, it's like, okay, what else has Trey Chambers designed? Because I want to play more of what this person is doing. It really was that sense of, oh, I don't know a whole lot about this game yet. I have some work to do. And yet it still is fairly approachable. I think it's an easy game to get up and running. You will have some rules. The rule book is very good. Do we want to talk about differences of player count or anything like that, or no?
That's up to you. I mean, I don't have a. I mean, this originally was a small box game from TMG, which I had played a long time ago. And as far as just blowing up the whole world and universe of what this game could be compared to what it was in a little 4x6 box to, a big box game. They've done phenomenal. But I don't have a ton of experience with the various player counts.
Well, just at solo and even at 2-player, there's a cow, Jerry, that's kind of blocking you out. And it increases some of that difficulty in the worker placement. And I think Sometimes I have a difficult time managing the other workers. This happens to be a cow that I believe is the mayor.
No, of course.
Yeah, but very, very straightforward in terms of where to move it on the board, how it works. It does a nice job of disrupting some decisions. So I might have the perfect turn mapped out, but then Jerry just went and took that spot and took what I wanted. So now I've got to adjust. So although it requires planning, there's sometimes worker placements at 1 or 2 players. There can be bookkeeping that I'm not a fan of, and Harvest doesn't seem to have that.
Yeah.
So plays great. At 3, haven't played it at 4. I've played it every other player count though. So
yeah,
that's all I wanted to mention.
Yeah, and we talked about the worker placement being very competitive. This is a game where the economies are going to be tight. Points are coins and seeds. The money is hard to come by. It's not. You're not rolling in dough. You're not having a whole bunch of surplus seeds that you're not doing anything with.
You've got 12 actions a whole game. I mean, to bottom line it, that's why the game plays in an hour.
Yeah.
You have 12 actions the whole game. What are you going to do? You can't do all things.
Yeah.
So, I didn't mean to jump in on you there.
No,
that was
okay.
the one other thing from my notes that I was like, make sure you get this said, that's why the game's played in under an hour. A lot of worker placement games get into that 2-hour point because there's 4 rounds, and each round has 3 phases. In each phase, you have 2 workers. And this it plays a lot quicker than that.
Yeah. All right, so that is our spotlight game, Harvest from Keymaster Games.